Ladies and Gestetners, yes, because we've got yet another copy of a Brian May Red Special. And this one is by Jim Reed. There's not very much information out there on the tube about these, but certainly the reports I've seen are from an Italian distributor. So what I believe is that Jim Reed is an American or English gentleman who operates from Italy. And I've got to say that this looks rather nice. We've got, let me see, we've got all the right stuff there. We've got 22 frets, we've got Burns Trisonics, we've got a 0 fret going on there, the correct headstock shape. We've got all those switches that are in a probably slightly different orientation, and the two controls aren't exactly the same, but you know what, let's face it, on the whole, it doesn't half look like one. Now, this belongs to my mate Bob, and he has shown me that, as we can see, the bridge has been replaced with a hardtail fender style bridge, and he was wondering if we could reinstate it. So I've got to be honest, I'm not 100% on this one, but let's have a look and see what we can do. Take the strings off first, I think. So the first thing that we note is that, of course, the body has been drilled through to insert these ferrules, so that, of course, we can make the strings exit through the body and into the stop tail here. Whereas normally they would go through the tail of this item here. That feels quite loose to me, so we might have that off as well. I'll have a look, see what's going on there. I don't know, it might be right. Anyway, let's do that. Let's get it all whizzed apart, see what happens. Right, so initial difficulty is, so we've successfully and easily, to be fair, removed the vibrato system, which seems to be behaving perfectly well. We've got a single valve spring here as opposed to two, which I assume can be tightened or loosened with this little device here. However, this hardtail does not want to come away from the body. So maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something else beneath there. Let's have a look. Yes, I had indeed missed a screw that was buried in here. So as you can see, that we've got a little ground wire sticking out there, which of course will prevent any earthing problems. Now I need to investigate what is filling in the plugs for the bushes that would normally sit with the original bridge. Ooh, I'm not sure about this at all. Right, so as stated, this is the original bridge here. This is absolutely fine, the original vibrato system, and so if the original bridge does go back on with, and I've got the bushings here, so if this does go back on, then it's going to leave 6 little holes in there, which kind of, you can kind of colour match and stick cocktail sticks in there, or something like that. I'm going to have to ring Bob. Let's ring Bob and see what he says. So I've just spoken to Bob, and let me show you what we've got. So we've got these 2 plugs in here, where obviously he's the guy who did the transformation has filled in the holes where the original bushings were, and so I spoke to Bob and said, basically, if I can make a pilot hole and gently pull them out, if they're just, because I had a bit of a scrape, as you can see there, and it is actually wood underneath. I'm not sure what it's covered with, just black paint, I suppose. And so if I can gently drift those out, then happy days. If not, it'll have to go back as it was. So, wish me luck. May the force be with me, but not the brute force. Bottom line is this. So the original bushing holes that you can see, obviously here and here. So I've drilled a little pilot hole in there to see if I could easily draw out the dowel, the little wooden dowel that's been inserted there. So if that was what we call an interference fit, in other words, that it was just the right size dowel to bang in there, then it should theoretically draw out fairly easily. However, it didn't, which means that it's been glued in, probably, you know, tight bond or some other kind of wood glue, some PVC based, PVA rather, based product. I do not have the precision tools to accurately draw that out so that the bush will go in as it should. So I'm afraid that I've spoken to Bob, and we're happy to see if we can find some local precision place, because they're only going to charge you a few bob to get it out. So that is what's going to happen with that, and it's a bit, and it really is beautiful looking it out, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. But really getting it restored back to original spec would be rather superb, I feel. So that's that one. What a disappointing end. But the bottom line is, never overextend your thrust, because it leaves you vulnerable and off balance. So always work within your limitations. And that's the moral of tonight's story. So thanks all ever so much for tuning in, and hopefully I'll have an update for you on this within the next week or two. Alright, adios amigos. Ta-ra. Hang on, I'm back. So, we were concerned about the two dowels that were sitting underneath the bridge that had been installed, so that we could reinstate the original bridge. And I phoned a mate of mine who has got a drill press, and he asked me a couple of questions and gave me some advice. And he said, are they wood? I said, yes, they're wood. He said, have you removed dowels before from wood into wood? I said, yes. And he said, well, stop being a big Jessie and get it done. So that's what happened. So now, hopefully, we're in the place where all we need to do, really, come on. Thank you. Well, all we need to do really is button it back up. On these bridge saddles, which of course are individually intonatable and height raising and falling able. There's in the A1. There's a couple of grub screws missing, but luckily I do have a quantity of those in my parts bin. So let's get it buttoned up, strung up, and then hopefully we'll give it a review in a week or two. Okay, I'll do that, and we'll have a look at the result. So very happily, we've had a result. All of the original equipment has been now reinstalled. Let's get a light on this. Slightly better. Oh, I'm sorry about that. A slightly better look. So yes, there it is, all back to normal. Now the only thing is, of course, that because it had been converted to a hard tail, I shall just show you this. It has left, as one might reasonably expect. And I do hope that you can see these, although they're not terribly evident, to be fair. It has left 5 little screw holes, excuse me, from where the hard tail, this chap here, had been removed. So there's a couple of things that you could do with that, and I look forward to hearing any of your comments about it. You could, you know, chuck some cocktail sticks in, cut them to the right size and paint them red on the top as near to the colour as you can get. Or you could put the screws back in, or some screws back in, which I think would probably look slightly more attractive. Or just leave it as it is. So, there we go. That's the Jim Reed Red Special. That's the Jim Reed Red Special ready to review. I shall do my research and I'll tell you what I reckon about it when we get it done. So, definitely, adios amigos. Ta-ra.